people, especially with the way
Mm.
things are today, there's always someone out there that's gonna cut a corner, cut a deal for them to get something better. So you need to make sure that you're providing value to each person that you interact with.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome to the Closing Table. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh, and joining us on this episode, we want to welcome real estate professional Eric Martin. What's going on, Eric?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing great myself, man. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be a guest here on the Closing Table podcast. We appreciate that, sir. So, we're here to talk about real estate, but before we do that, I like to talk to the person. So if you can, in 60 seconds or less, tell us who you are outside of real estate, Eric.
Yeah, man. So a little bit about me. I'm 31, about to turn 32. Outside of real estate, I spend a lot of time disc golfing. It's a huge passion of mine. I really like to be active and get outdoors when I can. Really big into music and travel. My girlfriend and I, we go on jam cruise every year. We're leaving at the end of February. It's like a music festival boat cruise that it's basically just a bunch of jam bands and old people in the middle of the ocean, and it's a fun time, man. I recently just got a puppy, so a lot of my time is consumed with that. Becoming a dog
Congratulations.
dad, so yeah, man. Other than that, I spend a lot of time just, I really just try to make myself better. I I'll be straight up, man. I fucked up a lot in the past, and
Okay.
trying to rewrite those wrongs. And never anything like really bad or anything, but
Right.
just lessons learned. And I want to be the person that I've always thought I could be. So that's really what I'm working on right now.
I get it, man. No judgment, man. We've all done crazy things as kids, and as we get older, we mature, we look back, and we, some of us try to right the wrongs, and some of us just try to sweep it under the rug and just become a
It's a
different
lot easier
person.
to sweep
Either
it under
way,
the rug, man.
correct. Well said. But either way, it's respected what you're doing, man. I gotta honor that. So that's what's up. Let's talk about what you are doing professionally, your real estate business. Just describe it for us if you can, how long you've been licensed, what you consider your niche or specialty, and any notable achievements you may or may not have.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I've been in real estate a little over 3 years now. I would say my niche is probably the way that I communicate and interact with people. Prior to getting into real estate, I managed bars and bartended for several years. So I have a lot of experience interacting with people, all walks of life, all different experiences. I'm really good at handling adversity and being proactive about situations before they come a problem. Communication, I think, is what helps me get my offers accepted, especially in this market. I can honestly say I think I'm probably one of the few people that have gotten people offers accepted under asking on the first house that they applied for. And that's just because
Nice.
I look for what people want and I try my best to provide that to everybody. I think in real estate transactions, it's really important that both people's needs are met. And I pride myself in being able to find that common ground and get deals done.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. Doing the work, using your strengths to your ability, like you said, being personable, communicating, all skills that cannot necessarily be measured or gauged per se. It's not on a stat sheet, but nonetheless, are things that are very, very effective in a transaction and just relationship building in general. So I completely understand that as someone who graduated with a degree in communication. So just wanted to put that out there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about where you're doing your business. Let's talk about it two different ways. Describe your market geographically first and foremost. Paint that picture for people who may have never been there, like the weather, the culture, the notable attractions, things like that. Talk about where you currently serve.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and grew up in Berkeley. I grew up there most of my life. I spent a couple of years living in Chicago, And then
Mm.
I've lived in Detroit for the last several years up until last year. My girlfriend and I just recently bought a house in Ferndale.
Okay.
Um, my brokerage is based out of Birmingham. This is all in Michigan, by the way. I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
said
Mm-hmm.
that, but
No, no, you're
it's a
perfect.
pretty diverse area. We have a lot of different cultures and a lot of different people. Ferndale as a whole is very LGBTQ friendly, which
Mm-hmm.
super great. It's a very inclusive area. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
everybody belongs here, and it really aligns with, I guess, my ideals of what I see for the future. And, there's a lot of stuff to do, great entertainment, some notable attractions downtown. I think we probably are the only city that has all professional sports teams playing within a mile of each other. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of great history and culture in the city, music scene. Hart Plaza is a great place, Jefferson. They just redid the Riverwalk and connected it all the way to Belle Isle. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out this summer. And yeah,
Nice.
and I mean, I've seen the change that Detroit has gone through in the last several
Mm-hmm.
years, and I'm here for it, man. It's our time to come back.
I agree, man. I agree. As a native Detroiter myself, trust me, I've seen the transformation. I was there through it all, the good, the bad, and the come up right now. So I like that you're serving that area. I always, like seeing
Can we get like
agents in the Metro
pause?
Detroit area, getting people to move there, encouraging people to move there, like showing them the good side of it, and you being one of the ones that's doing that good work. So appreciate you for doing that. Now let's talk about the economic side of the market you're serving. Really just talking about data and numbers. What data information do you have in regards to how real estate is moving in the Metro Detroit area? Average prices, days on market, anything else you have to tell us, please?
So we're still seeing a huge seller's market right now. We're dealing
Mm,
with a severe lack of inventory still. This is not a new thing. It's been going on for almost 2 years now. We're
mm-hmm,
finally starting to see rates drop a little bit lower, which is great for buyers. So, it lets them afford a little bit more house, but that's also
mm-hmm,
bringing a lot more buyers to the market that were waiting for those rates to drop. So, what we're also seeing is prices rise again because we're getting multiple offer situations on homes. The
mm.
average days on market in Ferndale right now is 11. So, that being
Oh,
said,
wow.
don't have
Oh,
time to
wow.
sit around and wait. If you are looking for a home and you see a place that hits the market, it's super important that you have somebody working for you that's sending you stuff as soon as it becomes available. And it's super important that you're making the time out of your schedule to go see things when they are available because I've seen places go before they even hit the market, so
Yeah.
you got to be really proactive and pay attention to what's going on in order to get ahead of the competition.
Yeah, yeah, I completely understand that, man. Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess shocked but not surprised. I completely understand that it is still a seller's market, but for homes to be coming and going within 2 weeks is kind of surprising still. But if it's a hot market, it's a hot market, so I get it. And if it's priced right, I can understand it leaving as early. But I saw on your profile you got feedback from one of your clients, happens to be a retired real estate agent. Also, they said, quote, I'm a retired realtor, so I know a good one when I see one. Eric is prompt, courteous, extremely knowledgeable, and goes above and beyond buyers' expectations. Talking about handling this transaction and the hurdles that you had to overcome, can you talk about the whole experience, about actually helping someone who's just as knowledgeable in the field that you are actually a professional in?
Yeah, absolutely. So this deal, what probably one of my favorite transactions to date, also one of my longest. So I met
Mm.
Sharon probably a year and a half ago. She had
Mm-hmm.
recently had a daughter that had passed away, and she was living in a larger
Oh.
house in Rochester Hills. And it was just really hard for her walking past her daughter's bedroom every day and just, be in there. And then it's just her. So she was looking to downsize and move closer to her family that she has down this way. And so,
Mm-hmm.
we've been looking and looking, but it was really hard because she was also hesitant to list her house because she didn't want to let go of all those memories that she shared
Yeah.
there. And so, in a situation like that, it's super important to be mindful of the emotions that are at play in that. And, you can't really rush those decisions. we put in offers on a couple places that fit the bill, but she also wasn't gonna rush into anything either because she's also looking to downsize and she needs to make sure it allows all of her stuff.
Right.
So we've been looking, and after, I want to say, this was probably like 3 months ago, we finally got super serious about it. And I told her, I was like, look, Sharon, I'm going to find you a house before Christmas. And we closed on the deal 3 days before Christmas, and we got her in a house. And I just listed her
Beautiful.
house in Rochester Hills. I got an open house on Saturday.
Beautiful, beautiful. Work well done right there, Eric, man. That's, I always believe in divine timing, man, divine order. Everything will fall into place when it's supposed to fall into place. I'm one of those everything happens for a reason type guys. So, I
Absolutely, man.
love to
That's
hear
such
that,
no
man.
coincidence.
Correct, correct. Especially right before the holidays, everybody wants to be settled into somewhere before the
Absolutely.
holidays. So that was great. That was great to hear, man. That was great. So you spoke on this earlier. You said that you are a relatively new homeowner yourself. I saw that you posted a video showing some things that you were going through, like with the wallpaper and everything. But you spoke on the fact that you wish there were some things you knew before becoming a homeowner. That phrase is so commonly repeated amongst first-time homeowners. So my question is, why do you believe current and potential first-time homeowners miss certain education on being a first-time homeowner when there's so many resources available?
Um, Honestly, man, that's a really good question. I've got a couple reasons for you. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest reason I think is just an overflow of information. There's so much information out there being put out there by everyone. You have to really be careful and mindful of who you're getting your information from
All right.
and making sure that that information is accurate. Aside from that, you have to have someone that you can trust to ask questions. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't have someone in your corner that's working for you and ready to answer any questions you have and preparing you for the situation, you don't really know what you're getting into. I think me becoming a homeowner has also made me a lot better of a realtor. I think
Mm-hmm.
I was almost pitching a false prophecy to people of something I believed in when I hadn't really gone through the motions myself. Being a homeowner now, I think it's really allowed me to see things through that perspective and also relate to my buyers and sellers a lot more. You know, um, I'm
Mm.
actively going through these things with my first time home buyers, so
Right.
it's right at the top of my mind to make sure, don't forget to change your air filters, change the locks,
Mm-hmm.
check your
Mm-hmm.
meters, and like all of these things are super important things that I don't think I would have been aware of had I not had to go through all these motions myself. A lot of times, you can hear something a million times and it's not going to stick until it comes time to actually do it.
That's a good point. Follow-up question to that. So do you feel you could still be just as successful as a realtor had you not bought your first home?
I don't think so. No, not at all. Um,
Interesting.
I think I was great at my job. Don't get me wrong. I
Right.
still think I am great at my job and I'm continuously getting better every day. But
Mm-hmm.
in order to pitch something to somebody, it's just like a manager that's afraid to get back in the kitchen and help out when they're in a rut. You got to know every aspect of your business in order to be successful at it. And
I love
in
that.
order to successfully run that business, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. You got to get down there and change that filter. You got to, dig up the grass or like do something. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
to be a part of the foundation that you're pitching to other people.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And I've spoken to realtors who didn't own a home at that exact moment or exact time or whatever the case may be, and different people have different feelings about that situation. And then more importantly, some clients that you may be dealing with potentially may feel a certain way about you not, or whether or not you own a home, I should say. So it's good to put that information out there and that perspective. I don't think that you are not a great real estate agent if you don't own a home by any
Oh
chance,
no,
by any
absolutely.
stretch of the imagination. Like, you can still be very, very knowledgeable. That's like saying you can't be knowledgeable of a sport because you've never played it. You can
Oh
still
no,
see it from a different
yeah. To that extent,
perspective,
there's a lot of
get a
coaches that
different.
never play.
Precisely. So you can take a bunch of different perspectives into account. You can take people's failures, people's successes into account, and then take that and then and regurgitate it into education that can help someone else. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're
Yeah,
currently
absolutely.
still technically in the holiday season. Happy New Year. We're still
Yeah,
just starting
absolutely.
off 2024, but a lot of people aren't necessarily in that buying or selling home mood during the holiday or winter season for the most part, especially here in Michigan. So, from your perspective as a professional, why do you think people should be taking advantage during this unfavorable season in the real estate market?
So really the holidays are a great time to buy or sell your home. From a buyer's perspective, there's a lot less competition. Like you said, a lot of people are choosing not to buy during the holidays or the winter months. So you have less people out there wanting to buy, which
Mm-hmm.
increases the odds of getting an offer accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from the seller's standpoint, it's a great time to sell because the buyers that are actively buying right now are serious. A lot of times, in the summer months especially, you get when you're doing an open house, you get a lot of people that are, oh, I was just driving through in the area, I want to check it
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And so you don't have to have as many people coming in and out of your home in the winter months because the people that you are getting are more serious. They're also not going to check out 60, 70 homes.
Yeah. 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 That's a whole good point. And I kind of felt that way as I got more information about that. Like, it makes so much sense to do it during the time nobody's doing it. Like you said, as soon as you mention it, like during the summer, you can see a sign that says open house. And if you are just already have it in your
Uh,
mind that you want to look for a home or purchase a home, you're like, let's just stop by and see what it's like. Just off the strength. You're
no,
probably not
absolutely.
going to make that decision when there's 3 feet of snow or a couple inches of snow. You're just trying to get from destination to destination. If it
Yeah,
wasn't in your plans,
exactly. You're not
you're
out
not going to do
casually going for a
it.
stroll on a
Exactly.
Sunday afternoon in 2 feet of snow.
I agree. So thank you for providing that perspective.
Yeah, for sure,
we
man.
uh we appreciate that. Your branding, your image, from what I've seen in digital spaces, you have a very unique look, style, image. It's more of a retro 70s looking style. It's kind of like with the Flint Tropics with the I forgot with Will Ferrell the movie. You know what I mean? But
No, for
respectfully,
sure.
I like it. It stands out. I say, yo, he is a unique person and character. So can you just explain, like, how did you get to the point of incorporating this style to your brand, and discuss a time when you felt like it was beneficial to a client or a transaction?
Yeah, absolutely. So the incorporation of the style into my brand, honestly, was right from the get-go. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of people when they get into real estate, they spend time trying to figure out the ropes and like go towards joining a team or like finding a mentor and stuff. I've always loved talking about myself, so I was so excited to start branding myself.
Nice.
My brand really speaks to my aesthetic, and I think the biggest part about establishing and building your brand is authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I pride myself on my authenticity. I've always been true to myself. The
Mm-hmm.
approach we kind of went going into it at first, I kind of wanted to like market myself as like a black Mr. Rogers.
Nice.
Like I'm always like wearing cardigans and stuff, and I'm always like my style. I dress like a grandpa. I'm a very old soul. I'm actually the belt buckle that I wear every day. My grandpa actually made it in like the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like made out of like a half dollar. But yeah, I mean, I think my
Nice.
brand is just who I am. I think it
Mm-hmm.
really speaks to my vibe.
Nice, man. I love that, man. Like I said, when I first saw it, I said, "Yo, I love it." Like it. This is what I want to say about it. It to the average person, it may look like, who is this person? Why is he dressing up like this? Blah blah blah. They may think whatever. But when you think about people who are successful, they stand out in some type of way, whether it's with their talents, whether it's with their looks, and it leads to their talents, or whatever the case may be. But this is just one of those things where if you lined up a bunch of real estate agents, you will be that one that stand out. And it's like, let me see what he's about, and then to put your work behind it and stand on like your great, transactions and what you've done. It just makes it all better. So, like I said, man, kudos to you for
I
standing on
appreciate
who
it,
you
man.
are, man. Standing on who you are. I love that, man. Gotta honor that.
I appreciate it,
See,
man. I really do.
yes, CLV, customer lifetime value. This is often associated with basically long-term value from a customer's perspective. Now, how do you guide real estate investors, if you've dealt with any investors, into assessing the CLV of a property, considering certain factors, obviously like rental income, appreciation, just resale value?
Yeah, so another big factor to consider is how long do they keep on holding the property and what do they intend on using it for? You know,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
instance, a great business model is my salon suites. My girlfriend was renting a salon out of there. It's a business model where it's just a building and they rent out individual salons to like small business owners. People like my girlfriend does permanent makeup. They have like hairstylists, barbers, there are massage people there. And so for something like that, like you're going to make money if you can get people to stay. So you need to incentivize people to stay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
where my girlfriend was at, for instance, they're seeing a lot of people leave right now because they promised a lot of things that they didn't deliver on. Like it's, for instance, getting booths set up at downtown local events for them to market themselves. And, in order for people to want to stick with you and your business and stick around and for you to continue to make money, you need to make it a valuable investment for them because anybody can rent a space anywhere, but people, especially with the way
Mm.
things are today, there's always someone out there that's gonna cut a corner or cut a deal for them to get something better. So you need to make sure that you're providing value to each person that you interact with.
Well said. Well said. I agree with that absolutely. Yeah, and to follow up with that, just in general with your real estate career, what benefits have you observed in your real estate career by adopting this approach, the CLV, customer lifetime value approach?
I think some of the benefits are just retention. I mean, I've only been in real estate, like I said, a little over 3 years now, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
already having, my referral business and repeat customers are already coming in. So, I think that's the bread and butter of this business. You got to treat your
Mm-hmm.
people right and they'll treat you right. You know, um, Not only with customers but other people, and building reciprocal business relationships. Like I work closely with a lot of lenders and insurance people, and just having somebody that is at the top of mind when they have somebody that needs a
Yep.
realtor, and
Yep.
establishing those connections that are like going to last ideally a lifetime.
Yes, yes. No, I agree. I haven't heard necessarily that specific approach, CLV, but it's usually put in different types of ways. People, put different words around it. But essentially, I like the way that you phrase it and you put it together and you kind of measure it. This is what I really want to ask you about, because I feel like this can apply to any and everyone. Because I was inspired when I saw this. You own a sports car of a former NFL player from the New Orleans Saints, wide receiver Eric Martin, same namesake, right?
Yeah.
You said this is motivation for you to work hard and, quote, be the greatest Eric Martin that ever lived, end quote. Why is it important to have something like this to motivate you? And what do you want to achieve to make you feel like you are the greatest Eric Martin ever?
So, I'm probably going to go a little bit off on a tangent with this one, but on the Eric Martin topic. So, the person who owns ericmartin.com is in a band, and his Twitter handle is ericmartinband.com. So,
Mm.
I bought the domain name ericmartinband.com. He's performing in Michigan in February or March. And
Wow.
I've already messaged him. I have plans to meet up with him and exchange domain names with him and buy a drink off of him because I deserve ericmartin.com. He's not doing much in music anymore. He's had his time with it,
Mm.
and I'm out
Mm-hmm.
here trying to build a world. I think I deserve the domain name ericmartin.com. So,
That's real.
Eric Martin, if you're watching this, be ready, man. I know we talked, but I'm coming for you.
I love that. I love that, man. And I just love this overall. There's a certain childish feeling that I think that we all may get. I'm speaking for everybody at this point. I don't care. I think there's a certain childish feeling we all get when we see someone with the same name that we have. Now, it's one thing if they have the same first name, but if they have the same first and last, it's one of
Oh, yeah.
those interesting moments, especially if they are achieving great things. You're like, wow, like
Like,
they
look at
have
that
the
Eric
same
Martin
names.
go.
Right. You're like, wow, they're achieving these great things. Maybe I can do the same thing just based off having the same name. Or maybe you just feel like, they're great because they are a Kevin or Eric, whatever the case may be. I love the perspective of saying, this is a Eric Martin, or this is someone with the same namesake as me who has done such great things. They're on a sports card. And not only do I want to be just as successful to where, in my theoretical lane, I would get a theoretical sports card, I guess you could say, but I want to be the Eric Martin that people think of whenever they think of that name, period. I don't want them to think of the football player. And I think that's a great, great way to motivate you as an individual, any and everybody. Like, just try to be the best Eric Martin, Kevin McIntosh, or whatever your name is that has ever lived. So
It's really hard with a common ass name, though, man.
yeah, that's well said. Josh Smith, you got a lot of work to do.
Right.
You got a lot of work to do. Hey, man, but listen, great talk, Eric, man. I appreciate you so much, man. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. So if anybody's looking to buy or sell or needs any real estate advice or has any questions, or you want to disc golf or grab a beer or something, hit me up. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Eric Martin Real Estate. If you shoot me a message, I talk to you. It doesn't have to be business related too. I know we've all been there, so if anybody's feeling down in the dumps, I might not give the best advice, but I'll definitely give you advice.
There it is.
So yeah, I think it's really important to be there for people all the time because you never know what a difference, just a simple gesture can mean, like it doesn't hurt to be nice sometimes,
Yeah, I agree. Doesn't take much work either.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, and
absolutely.
yeah, I was
Absolutely.
just talking about that. A smile can be contagious, man. Well said. Perfect place to land a plan. Thank you so much, Eric, again. For our YouTube audience watching right now, if you are getting to this point, if you are at this point, yes, hit the like button, please. And thank you. Make sure you also subscribe and share the content. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Hey, Eric, I'm going to leave our audience with a question before they leave. So this is for you. Where do you or did you get your information to help you become a better homeowner? Don't tell us right now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that, I'll talk to you next time.